of your spouse fills up. So what we're saying is this, that whatever your spouse's primary love language is, you want to give them heavy doses of that. You want to sprinkle in the other 4, and when you do, their love tank fills up. The whole climate in the marriage begins to change. I know that some of you are saying, well, Gary, yeah, but there's too many things that have happened. Too much stuff has gone on. And so, I don't know. Well, look, if you failed or if they failed, why don't you begin by giving an apology? Why don't you begin by saying, you know, I realize that I have not met your needs very well, and I really want to do better. Maybe they'll forgive you, maybe they won't. But you at least reach out to try to tear down the wall. And then, whether they forgive you or whether they don't, you start speaking their love language. You start giving them heavy doses of their primary love language. And what happens, they begin to see things really are changing with you. You really are different. And in a little while, they're going to be saying to you, what's going on? And you can just simply say, I'm just trying to learn to be a better spouse. And when they see the sincerity and they see it expressed in a language that's meaningful to them, what happens is the climate changes between the two of you. It works with children, it works in a marriage, it works in all human relationships. And I want to challenge you to learn the primary love language of your spouse and speak it regularly. Yes, it requires work. Yes, it requires a willingness to sacrifice. But is that not what love is all about? It's giving yourself for the benefit of the other person. Earlier, my wife and I had tremendous struggles in our marriage. And unfortunately, it went on for a long time. But when I finally learned her love language and how to communicate love to her, our marriage radically changed. 3 questions helped me learn her love language. They're simple questions, but they changed my marriage. Question number 1, what could I do to help you? Question number 2, how could I make your life easier? Question number 3, how could I be a better husband to you? Do you know when I was willing to ask those 3 questions, my wife was willing to give me an answer. She told me. And when I let her teach me how to love her, do you know what happened? Not overnight, but within 3 months, my wife started asking me those 3 questions. And you see what happens? Love stimulates love. When I started loving her in the right love language, she responded to that. Love is the most powerful weapon we have to change a marriage. You understand what I'm saying? The potential to change the world is in what I've shared with you. If we can learn in our marriages to love our spouses and love our children in the right love language, we can change the climate of marriage and family in this country. And I want to challenge you to be a part of the solution and not a part of the problem. Love is the most powerful weapon we have for good, and it will help us transform marriages and families. So I'm challenging you to learn the primary love language of your spouse. Give them heavy doses of that. Sprinkle in the other 4 for extra credit. And what happens is you both live with a full love tank. And when you do the same thing with your children, heavy doses of primary, sprinkle in the other 4, they come to adulthood knowing how to speak all 5 languages and knowing how to receive love in all 5 languages. That is the healthiest child, is the one who comes to adulthood knowing how to speak all of these languages. You see, most of us did not grow up receiving love in all 5 languages. Most of us got 1 or 2 or 3. And as adults, we have to learn them. But if we teach our children all 5 languages, they come to adulthood, and it's much easier for them when they get married because now they can learn to speak their spouse's language. In fact, many single adults live with an empty love tank. They're in my office, I'm going to say every week, but every month for sure. 25, 30 years of age, never been married, and say to me, Dr. Chapman, I never felt loved by my parents. Did the parents love them? My guess is yes. The problem? They never expressed love in a language that child felt. So now they've come to adulthood, still feeling unloved by their parents. Love has the power to change all of that. I've said to those single adults, would you be willing to love your parents in the right language and see what happens? And over again, I've seen them reach out and bridge a gap and speak the love language of their parents, and I've seen their parents warm up and reciprocate. Any relationship, marriage, family, any relationship can be enhanced if we learn people's love language and we choose to speak it. My hope is that our time together will help all of us here in the studio and our watching audience to respond to the significant people in your life with love. Nothing has the potential to change the world like love.